Hello, good afternoon. Welcome to Joy News today. We're coming to you live from our studios in Kokomlemle. We're on DTT because we're free to. We're on DSTV channel 421 and GoTV channel 125. Joy News, your home of independent, fearless, and credible journalism. Coming up this afternoon, also, former Chief Justice Theodora Georgina Wood wants the next election to be about policies and not propaganda, adding the phenomenon discourages potential leaders from engaging in politics. Also this afternoon, Chairman of ESWAL Interministerial Committee on Illegal Mining, Professor Frimpong Boateng, invokes the wrath of God on all persons engaged in illegal mining in Ghana. Why? We'll find out shortly. Plus, our failure to heed warning signs is to blame for the devastating flood in the Ho municipality. That's according to MP for Ho, Benjamin Podo, more as residents continue to count their losses. Meanwhile, residents of Waja and motorists who use the Accra-Takoradi Highway are angry about the seeming lack of action by city authorities to immediately stop the perennial flooding of sections of that road. We have all of these plus business, sports, world news, and showbiz coming up shortly. Many thanks for choosing us. We are also live on Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, and Twitter at Joy News on TV. My personal handle is Athanana Aisha. Let's begin with former Minister of Environment, Professor Frimpong Boateng, who has called for the wrath of God on all persons engaged in illegal mining activities that are destroying forests, water bodies, and the environment. According to former Chairman of the Interministerial Committee on Illegal Mining, no individual participating in galamsey and other activities that degrade the environment will be spared God's punishment. He was addressing a breakfast meeting by the Kumasi chapter of the Full Gospel Businessmen's Fellowship to mark its 40th anniversary.
Professor Frimpong Boateng has in recent times been vilified and commended for his report on the Interministerial Committee on Illegal Mining, which names some politicians and influential persons for their alleged involvement in galamsey. Addressing the Full Gospel Businessmen's Fellowship in Kumasi, the former Minister of Environment used scriptures to drum home his campaign for the protection of the environment.
When we are destroying our environment, you see, we are not alone. All the other creatures of God are very important. God created us so that we take care of them. There are many cattle as well in Ghana. So we have bears that take care of the dead animals so that we don't get sick, vultures and so on. When was the last time you saw a vulture? Because if you attack, vultures need tall trees, and these animals and these bears. If you destroy their habitat, if you destroy their food, source of water, they will die. Imagine us. If somebody comes here, he's more powerful than us, he bulldozes our houses, takes away our water, our food, what will happen to us? So we are supposed to take care of these things, and we are messing up God's thing, and we think we are smart. God is not happy with that. If you look at the book of Revelations 11 verse 18, the nations are angry because your wrath have come. The time has come for you to punish the dead and to reward the servants, the prophets, the saints who revere your name. And the last line is, and to punish those who destroy the earth.
Professor Frimpong Boateng says Christians should be ready to speak the truth and face the consequences.
These are the things that make me who I am, standing for God. So my point is that if we could get Christians, not many, good people, 1,000 is too much for Ghana, who will get up each morning and say, Lord, thank you for giving me life. What do I have to do today to make my workplace a better place? If a church, how many pastors will say, what do I have to do to make this enterprise a good place? Taxi drivers, what do I have to do to make this job good so that my madam or my master, shopkeepers, this. And then you do what you have to do without any selfish motives. this country will change. I believe that. And I want to be part, I'll be part of that. I will tell the truth and face the consequences.
For Joy News, Nana Boachitankwa reporting.
Well, I've been joined by Deputy National Director of the Conservationist Group, MultiChoice Ghana, Daryl Bosu. I know your outfit has done so much work on getting people to be aware of the dangers associated with illegal mining. Unfortunately, the situation seems to be getting worse. How serious is the problem we are fighting? So much so that we now have to invoke the wrath of God.
Thank you very much, Aisha. And I think I am somewhat happy to hear Professor Frimpong Boateng send a strong invitation to the Christian fraternity or the family to also get involved in this. Also because we've seen that the Christian bodies and institutions have been complaining, but I guess not loud enough. And almost somehow we know that some of this money, when it's generated, find its way also into the church. So it's good that Prof is reminding all of us of our Christian duty to also care for the earth and good stewards of the earth. But in talking about the seriousness of the issue, and I would say that now that the rains are coming and we are seeing how our rivers and streams are getting flooded all over the country, that in itself should tell you that galamsey is still with us and it's getting serious. I mean, just over the weekend, I got some complaint coming from people at Barikese talking about how the water body, the water at the abstraction point, the intake point for the water company is getting polluted seriously because there are some people working in the rivers with our faith, and as a result, the rivers is raining, and so it's pushing all the pollution towards the treatment unit. And I think that this is not the only place. We've seen that a lot of places also where water intake is happening for water processing and treatment is also getting expressing the same issue. So that in itself tells you that galamsey is still on the rise and is continuing. I know the government will say things are getting better, but on the ground, the experiences of people are different. Our rivers are now going beyond its banks, and so people are having to move from settlement that used to be close to some of these rivers and all of that. Also telling that the rivers are filtered and the pollution is catching up with all of that. So I think the fact that we see all our rivers still polluted, the rivers overflowing their banks, to tell you that the issue is not abating anytime soon.
How do we move from here?
So actually, you asked a very, very important question. I've said sometime in the past that until our leaders really show commitment, and at the moment we don't see that. What we rather see is that this government is so bent on pushing an agenda of accelerated mining, not giving heed to any call for caution, and that is the problem. Until we get a leadership that is committed to letting us see that there are other options to using the land and not just for mining, we are not going to make any headway in addressing this issue. So for me, we need to rethink, and this is where the Christian bodies can come in, the Islamic institutions, and also the faith-based institutions can also do a lot to start asking for a change in direction. And I think that the youth should also be asking for a change in direction in the way we see development in this country. Until we do that, government now and government yet to come will think mining is a way to get out of unemployment, which I believe is not. We really need to look at the bigger picture when we are looking at how we get employment. We cannot mine ourselves out of unemployment. And so we need to rethink the situation where government is investing so much in mining. I think that is what is making everybody think that once you get into mining, you get support from government, and even the law enforcement agents will just come, see you, say good morning to you, and go back and do, even if you are citizens illegal. So until we do that, we are just going to keep discussing this issue, and it is never going to end.
Grateful for your time, Daryl Bosu. He's Deputy
pleasure.
National Director of the Conventionist Group, Arocha, Ghana. Now, former Chief Justice Georgina Tudora Wood has condemned propaganda in Ghana's political space, warning it is taking away the interests of potential future leaders to engage into politics. Speaking at the investiture of a new district governor for Rotary's District 9104, the former head of the judiciary urged stakeholders to prioritize development and policies in the 2024 elections and not mindless propaganda.
Only a year hence, we will be preparing to go to the polls, once again to elect national leaders for this beautiful country. Do we wish to create hope for the future by channeling our energies and other resources to developmental issues, or is it going to be another unending trend of pure propaganda as usual? It bears emphasis that deliberate falsehoods, misinformation, and dishonesty have destroyed the reputation and homes of many and shattered the dreams, aspirations, and hopes of several others. It also poses a huge threat to our unity as a country. One painful truth is that in this country, there are some decent, hard-working men and women with integrity, drive, and initiative who would rather quietly stay in their little corners and enjoy their God-given blessings than venture into politics or invest their lives in public service, simply on account of the reputational damage they fear they may likely suffer if they did so. As we enter into a new phase of service to mankind, that as a new district with new leadership, I would urge you to continue your good work of touching lives and creating hope in this country, something that you have been doing for years now. Please help us to change our success story. One important reason is that this new district and its leadership take off at a very critical time in Ghana's developmental history, a time this country faces serious financial challenges which have necessitated an IMF bailout. Of course, these challenges would affect several projects and programs of the government, and in such situations, the vulnerable will feel the impact even more.
The new district governor of the Rotary's District 9104, David Osei-Amankwah, meanwhile tells Joy News Rotary will continue to impact the world and will not relent on its efforts to eradicate polio in the world.
It's the most, I would say in Ghana, certainly its record of impactful service to the community of Ghana is without comparison. One of the most predominant areas that Rotary is well known for is polio and polio immunization. And Rotary has played a huge role, has spent over $2.5 billion on polio immunization in the world, and continues to spend a lot of funds for water and sanitation projects, for educational projects, maternal health care, in the environment, and so many projects that are ongoing. I think that this year you will feel the impact through effective public image seminars, webinars, and such that you'll be invited to get a full impact of what we've done. But we are constantly, our 63 clubs are constantly involved in the community all over Ghana. There are 63 clubs, 1,800 members. With Rotractors, we are exceeding 2,500 members, and they continue to impact their communities in all manner of ways through projects.
Drivers within Mansua, Menfi, Bodie and Asankregwa in the Menfi Central, East and West municipalities are demonstrating against poor roads. Their protest follows instances where passengers were left stranded on the journeys as a result of the terrible nature of their road network. Ketri Kofibedu is a local journalist with Ahombrase FM in Asankregwa. He joins us live with the very latest. Ketri, tell us more about the state of the roads that the drivers are protesting.
Well, Aisha, thank you very much, and let me welcome our listeners to Amenfi West, Amenfi Central, and Amenfi East. These are three municipalities that the drivers within Asankregwa to board apply the road. It was this morning that we're notified that the drivers have been complaining of the bad nature of the road, and they decided to do demonstration, but they were not given the permit. So they told the divisional commander that they would still persist in doing the demonstration. They this morning packed trees and other things onto the road, blocking the road from Manso to Bodie, where passengers that have been using this road got stranded on the road. As we speak, the regional commander came with his men and has spoken to the drivers, including some youth groups that joined the demonstration or joined the road blockade. And they've agreed that, God willing, and next week by now, the contractor will come back to the road and they will see improvement on the road. So as we speak, they've opened up the road and passengers are now having their way through.
I need you to describe the roads that they're protesting. I mean, we can see portions of that on our screen, but how bad are these roads?
I said the road, I tell you, is very bad. Anyone that has used this road before will testify to it. We had Honorable Kennedy Japon on one of his campaigns to come around and said, well, he's happy we came around, but our roads are very, very bad. We don't know the word to use in describing it. We can't say manholes, we can't say zaga. In fact, as you can see on the television, the road is very, very bad. And it starts from Bodie. Bodie is just after Bogoso when you are using the Ayamfree Road. There's a branch there heading towards Mansua Menfi, then to Asankregwa. So from that Bodie junction to Mansua Menfi, way to Asankregwa, these are the people that are using this road. This is the road that links these communities together. And as I said earlier on, the road is very, very bad. It's in a bad state that the word bad is a little word to use in describing it.
You heard the Ketri Kofibedu, his reporter with Ahombrase FM, bringing us details of that road. But he says that there's been a promise for the contractors to get back to work. We'll be monitoring that also. MP for Ho, Benjamin Kodo, has blamed the inactions of state actors in that municipality for the devastating flood, which has caused havoc in the suburbs downstream, destroying property worth millions of Ghana cedis. The flood destroyed major shops and broke through the back of a textile shop situated at Civic Center. Now, thousands of goods were also washed away, including textiles. The Ghana National Fire Service, after preliminary investigations, described the incident as a disaster due to the extensive havoc caused. Speaking to Benis Abubedulans on the AM show this morning, the MP for the area, Benjamin Kodo, said as leaders with oversight responsibility for that municipality, they failed to take the necessary actions in spite of all the warning signs.
I'm sure that part of the contributory factor will be funds, but we now have a fund for secondary city development. I think the MCE should, with his team, prioritize these drains as part of utilization of that fund, because we approved from Parliament some amount for the elevation of the bridge at Ho Polyclinic, but we can't find out, we don't know what has happened to that project. So the Assembly needs to prioritize that using this fund, or start it little by little from its allocation of the common fund. That is the way out. I can vouch that the MCE has cleared some portion of roads which were occupied by builders. But That place from Dome to the SSB Bank area is a little far away from the drain, the main drain, which is down the valley when you are going from Dome to the market. So I don't think that alone would have contributed to any blockage of the drainage. That place wouldn't have. So we have to look at the drain specifically. And our planning department must be up and doing. Get to the areas that people have put structures along the drains. And then, demolish them to expand the bridges and the waterways. That is what will solve this problem, because I can assure you that more rains will come. This is another significant warning to us that it could be worse if we do not take the necessary actions now.
The Regional NADMO Director, Ivy Ameogan, said the organization is assessing the extent of damage caused to inform what kind of help or relief that will be needed. She also spoke on the AM show.
Yesterday, a team of comprising of the assembly engineers, the MC, myself and my team, NADMO Municipal and the whole team went around, and we were able to point out some structures that have been constructed on waterways, being one of the causes, and indiscriminate littering of the drains that we have. People intentionally just throw their rubbish in the drains that we have, which made it to get choked once there is little rain. And then we realized that we have some engineering problems about the drains. So those were some of the causes that we have identified. Yesterday I've spoken with the hydrology department. I spoke with the boss who told me he's in Accra, but he'll be coming down for us to take him around to give us expert advice on what can be done about the drains that we have currently.
From Ho, let's take a trip to the central region, because anytime it rains, parts of the major highway which links Cape Coast, Takoradi and neighboring Côte d'Ivoire become impassable as it is covered with rainwater and sand washed down from the hills in the area. Commuters spend many hours in traffic before getting to their destination. Maxwell Agbagba has the very latest in our Flats of Trauma series.
It is just minutes after torrential rains here in the Greater Accra region. The usual chaotic scene is back on the Weja Atala section in the area close to the toll booth on the Accra-Takoradi highway. Parts of the road is flooded again. Here, I've met a truck driver, Issa Halidu. He slept in his car overnight after his truck got stuck in the silt on the road.
We said that we should pack small and wait. Other the rain will cut off, then we move. After 30 minutes, just then happened. Wow. After that, we will come back to remove all these things.
The issue is a big one, but as I'm saying, since we cannot focus on everything.
I have now met a concerned resident, Nana Kwesi Jana Pentin. He's always on the edge anytime he's not at home and there are signs of rain. He's befuddled how a major road like the Accra-Takoradi highway will be left to get flooded anytime it rains without any intervention from city authorities.
That the experiences people go through here are just horrid. When it rains a little, it just has to drizzle. It brings huge traffic, but that is just the beginning. That traffic, even after the rain, continues because there's a pile of sand that comes from up the hill, because the problem is that clearly, I'm not an expert, but you don't have to be an expert to see that it's a very unstable kind of area in terms of the soil and the land and everything. So it every time it rains, there's this huge erosion, and it brings boulders and rocks and gravel and everything, and it takes weeks to clear. So what we suffer on the day of the rain is just the beginning of the story. What is worse is that what people probably don't realize is that this is not a local, just a local issue, a local problem. This road that we are talking about serves as the entry point to Central Region, of course, to the Western Region, to Western North, and of course to Côte d'Ivoire and beyond. And a lot of the economic wealth of this country passes through here to Takoradi Harbour and all those places. But also remember tourism. We've made the Central Region for now the hub of our tourism industry, especially because of the castles and all that. And you do that and still people can't have access and go there. Go to a point where this year, if we don't do anything about it, there will be a complete cut off. And those people, and those of us who live here will simply, for days, cannot move anywhere.
Nana Kwesi Jana Pentin wants authorities to deal with the problem. Nana is not the only person concerned about the situation. Stephen Odum's pharmacy is very close to the highway and says the flooding of the area is an age-old problem. He says he has lost medication worth thousands of Ghana cedis as a result of the flood.
Well, when it's raining, the place is very terrible. You can't get access to the road. And when it happens like that, virtually there's no business for us here. I mean, people can access our pharmacy. Sometimes the rain even gets to the pharmacy, which is very terrible.
The fate of 10 aspirants in the governing MPP flag bearership race will be known today when the vetting committee presents its report to the National Council. It is not yet known the aspirants, including Vice President Dr. Baumia, Dr. Efria Akoto, former Greek Minister, former Trade Minister Alan Chermante, who have been qualified to proceed to the next stage of the election. But spokesperson for the vetting committee, Osebonso Amon, says any aspirant who will be disqualified has a right to file an appeal at the National Appeals Committee before the processes continue. Well, my colleague Samuel Mbura, who's been monitoring this for us, joins us with more via Zoom. Mbura, what have we picked from the committee as far as those who are qualified and those who will not qualify for the next stage are concerned?
Well, actually, at the moment, we cannot tell who has qualified among the 10 aspirants. But what I can say is that the committee is expected to present its report to the National Council of the party through the General Secretary today. My checks at both the campaign office and then the headquarters of the MPP indicate that the committee is yet to meet the General Secretary to submit the report. So after the submission of the report, that we will know if the executive committee of the party sits on it and then publish it. That's where we get to know who exactly or who have actually gone through the process and those that have been dropped. So at the moment, information is actually sketchy around those that have qualified and those that will be disqualified.
Let's look at the rules governing this whole exercise. We were promised that it will be a fair process, but what are the rules?
Well, the exercise has gone on smoothly. Then the committee expressed satisfaction about the performance and the conduct of the aspirants that have appeared before it. It only gave a directive that it is a guideline. This is actually a convention in the party that after the vetting process, you are not supposed to tell the media the questions that you were asked, the comments or anything that transpired during the exercise. So for now, every aspirant will have to be tight-lipped about what happened during their encounter with the committee whilst waiting for the document to be published. I earlier spoke to one of the aspirants to find out whether they have been engaged ahead of the submission of the report to the National Council through the General Secretary. And what I was told is that it is an internal exercise. So they have gone through the process, they are waiting for what the party would say, and then they will take it further from there. But as you heard Mr. Obi Amwa, if anyone is disqualified, you have the opportunity to file an appeal with the appeals committee of the party.
So we also got to know about the cost of the forms. What are they?
All right, so the cost of the forms is in relation to the parliamentary elections within the orphan constituencies of the party. So the nomination forms will cost 3,000 Ghana cedis to pick and an additional 35,000 cedis for filing. And this opening of nomination begins tomorrow for the orphan constituencies of the party across the country.
I know that there are people with special needs who would also want to contest this particular election. Are there special arrangements for such people?
Right, Asha, in order to promote increased representation of women, youth, and persons with disabilities in higher political offices, such aspiring parliamentary candidates will enjoy a 50% rebate of the filing fees. This means that they will be required to pay a non-refundable fee of 15,000 Ghana cedis, as against those that will pay about 35,000 when filing. Those who are outside this category will pay 35,000. Those with special needs will pay 15,000 Ghana cedis.
Samuel Mbura is our correspondent following this for us. We can now listen to Obi Amwa, who is chairman of the vetting committee.
Spent the days here since Monday. Thankfully, today we have concluded on our assignment when we managed to vet the 10th person who has applied to be a presidential aspirant and a candidate for the party. We've complied with the mandate of the National Party to ensure that anybody who has applied to be counted as a presidential aspirant has gone through the process. As the chairman said, by Monday we should submit a report, and if any person has been disqualified, he has the right to appeal to the National Appeals Committee before the process continues. It was decorous, respected the committee, and answered our questions. We've had no occasion to say that anybody has misconducted himself. Even when the person thought probably the question was unexpected, they've answered the questions to our satisfaction. We've completed the process. The next step is to submit our report to the party. That's the most important thing. We were given a week within which to conduct this process and submit a report. Based on our report, the party will follow on with the timetable. And as it's been put out, when they will ballot, when we will do the special electoral college, all has been spelled out by the party. Thankfully, we've gone through the process and no petition has come against any person.
You heard the Obi Amwa. He is the chairman of the NPP's vetting committee. Let's take a break on Joy News today. When we return, we'll bring you the very latest from the world of business.
Hello, good afternoon. Welcome to the business segment on Joy News today with me, Pius Kojobaka. The board chairman of the Cosmos Innovation Center, Joe Mensah, has indicated that the choice of the Northern region to establish its second office was informed by its agric potential. He said the area has vast lands that will allow the center scale up in agriculture to transformational levels. Mr. Mensah spoke at the commissioning of its offices in Tamale.
The Tamale office, according to KIC, is the second office in the country since its establishment 7 years ago. The second incubation hub is expected to take care of 4 out of the 5 regions in the north in 17 districts. Mr. Joe Mensah said the availability of land in the area can lead to industrial agriculture.
This particular location actually is a blessing for a couple of reasons. Ben oftentimes will coach me that I say that the last time I checked, everybody eats. and therefore we will continue to eat until the last breath. So whenever you are doing work in that area of agriculture, it's the right investment. Our country predominantly grew on agriculture before it got into all the other sectors. We are going back to our roots to try to make sure that we pay more attention to agriculture for this country.
The executive director of KIC, Benjamin Jankisi, said in the past the program was for graduates, but with the new program, they will reach out to both the formal and informal sectors.
In the past, KIC have always admitted graduates and students from tertiary institutions across the country and also in the northern sector in our KIC programs, such as the Agritech Challenge Classic and the Agritech Challenge Pro. This partnership under this with ACD Avoca on this particular program and project will now enable KIC as part of the consortium to reach youth both in the formal and informal sectors, regardless your educational background. So what we are saying is that, in short, KIC coming into Tamale, we will leave no one behind, regardless of your formal education or formal educational background.
The Northern Regional Minister, Shani Alhassan Shaibu, on his part, charged the youth to take advantage of the opportunity created to develop themselves.
I therefore see today as a very important day, as it marks the beginning of youth development in this part of our country. And I urge the youth to take advantage of this opportunity and to express my sincere gratitude to the board, management, and anniversary committee of Cosmos for extending an invitation to my office and to my good self.
Managing Director of MultiChoice Ghana, Alex Ochre, has indicated that the depreciation of the cedi and the high inflation recorded in the past few months has had an adverse impact on their operations. He is, however, hopeful that the economy will soon bounce back. He spoke to the media during a walk to mark the company's 30th anniversary celebration.
The depreciation of the cedi coupled with high inflation rate has had negative effect on most businesses. This has led to a high cost of doing business in the country. Speaking to the media after a health walk to mark its 30th anniversary, Managing Director of MultiChoice Ghana, Alex Ochre, said the company will work hard to mitigate the impact of the high inflation on its operation.
It's been difficult, right? I mean, we all know about the economic challenges we've faced, inflation, depreciation of the cedi, but it's part of the difficulties that I mentioned we've gone through, right? So MultiChoice has been here 30 years. There's been a lot of similar issues in the 30 years, but we are here. I mean, so we have a strong backbone, we have a strong group that has strong properties, so we'll continue to be here. I mean, it will just be a blip or a difficulty along the way, but we will surmount it. I'm sure the Ghanaian economy will rebound and we'll get to the good days again.
Head of Corporate Affairs of MultiChoice Ghana, Ni Ama Dagadu, added that his outfit would continue to bring customers the best content in these difficult times.
This year has been quite a tough year for everybody. We continue to see the cedi weakening against major international currencies, but we've had to make some changes. We've kept to the promise, the same content that we've given to our customers. We continue to give our customers that great content. And what we are doing is, like every other Ghanaian business, we are having to make some minor adjustments, and we'll continue to survive and bring customers the best content at the most affordable pricing.
MultiChoice Ghana has given Ghanaians a good television viewing experience over the last 30 years.
And that's your business for now. I am Pius Kojobaka. Daryl will be here at 1 p.m. with the Marketplace. Sports is next.
Thank you for staying with us on News Today. Time for the sport. I'm Gary Al Smith. And trending since this morning has been the 29th Ordinary Ghana Football Association Congress. It is the place where the stakeholders get to tell us their thoughts on what happened in the past football year and, most importantly, to happen in the future. This year's has taken a significant appeal because of the impending elections. Those who want to take over from Keto Kreku are lining up, and it was expected that he would respond, and respond he did. He had lots of promises. He also took aim at his detractors, and he also urged for unity, saying that the Ghana Football Association should not be a hotbed for NDC MPP politics.
You can see clearly that the process that was started in 2019 is a very long process. It takes time, it needs time, it will take a lot of resources, it will take continuous investments, support, hard work and sacrifices by all stakeholders to bear the good fruits that we all yearn to see and that we all deserve. I will forever welcome all the good advices, suggestions and criticisms, and only hope that those criticizing will not only criticize but offer solutions to the problems that are facing our football. The solution to our football problems is not to defame people. The solution to our football problems is to show respect to club owners like your good selves, because you deserve the truth. The solution to our football problems is not to forge documents to mislead the public. The solution to our football problems is not to go over to my brothers here from members of parliament with lies. The solution to our football problems is not about NDC and MPP, because football goes beyond political affiliations. If you are interested in leading football, speak football. Because our people here know what is football. Our club owners and CEOs here know what football is about. And I know you know what your needs are. You deserve respect. You do not deserve lies. You do not deserve false propaganda. My brothers from parliament deserve the truth. If you go to them and say, Kurt is MPP, Kurt is NDC, that is not the truth. That's not what they want to hear.
So, long speech, like I said, covered a plethora of areas, as well as you'd expect from the GFA president to review whatever happened in the past and to look into the future. Let's give you a summary of all the highlights of the speech that lasted about 20 minutes. So, promises galore, like I said. Each Ghana Premier League club is to be supported with 50,000 cedis to set up a youth team. He said it's in furtherance of the objective to get strong youth national teams in future. The GFA, he says, is also to invest 300,000 Ghana cedis on referee fees for clubs. Clubs will also get 25,000 cedis when 2 youth players feature in more than 15 games. Now, each Division 1 club, he says, will now receive 80,000 cedis next season in incentives, and the GFA will continue to absorb all ref fees in the upcoming season. Ex-national team players, he has promised, will get a 50% discount on all their coaching courses. He says that it's important for ex-national team players to be brought into the fray, and this will help more of them participate in coaching courses. 200,000 cedis will be invested in the Catch Them Young refereeing policy, and 100,000 cedis will be invested on Colts football. Let's go to another one that will highlight what happened today in Kumasi as well. Now, there's a plan to have a coordinating office in Accra to oversee the work of the regional football associations so that it can be decentralized, right? The FA is also to give 100,000 cedis for the purchase of footballs for all regional competitions. The FA will provide pickups for regional FA chairpersons. He said the FA will contribute 300,000 cedis for payment of officiating at the regional level. The FA will invest 200,000 for training of referees under the Catch Them Young initiative, and 1,000 cedi monthly allowance is to be expected to the regional referee managers. And finally, regional FA chairman will get 4,000 cedis monthly, and the vice chair will get 1,500 monthly. On my Joy Online, you can get highlights, longer highlights of what he said, what it means, and we'll keep the debates going as the Congress is expected to end around 3 p.m. You can get Nathaniel Atua too, also, as we go in depth on this one as well. I'm Gary Al Smith. Up next, we have international news.
Good afternoon. Welcome to Showbiz here on Joy News. Today, our multiple award-winning actor Jetianan has officially launched his memoir at a star-studded event at the weekend. Big names in the film industry and in politics were at hand to make the event a success. Here are highlights from the event.
I have the book. I'm about to open it, so I can't wait to read. I'm going to start reading it tonight. So once I get in my bedroom, I'm going to start reading it. Ajete is he's brilliant. He's a genius. Like, he's so smart, you know, and yes, he does. He knows his lines. He never comes on set without knowing his lines. Regardless of the amount of pages he has of lines to say, he will deliver. I love working with Ajete because he always has his lines, you know, and he's a serious actor. And he brings out the best actors within you, so I love working with him. He's a professional.
I'm happy that, you see, they are not waiting to be in their 70s, 80s, you know, they are doing it whilst they can still reflect and also give us the opportunity of having other books, because when you write at 50, it's possible that you can write at 60 or even 55. You know, so it's good, and this is going to also help the creative arts industry. It's going to let the young ones come in, understand that you don't need to repeat the mistakes of those who were before you.
He's somebody we all want to learn from. And it's not personal. I think it's collective, because everybody I talk to, everybody I ask, I want to ask people's opinion about Jetianan, and all they tell me is they want to learn from him. So I think, yeah, it's something we're all thinking the same line with. Yeah,
Jetianan is perfect.
Wow, perfect as in
he's just himself, and then will do as expected of him.
Congratulations on 50 with a beautiful memoir. How does it feel? I mean, seeing this, did this play out to you?
Well, you know, it's one thing writing it, but it's another thing getting feedback, and especially from the public. But this is my story.
Who's your target group for this book?
Young people who are budding with so much talent and who have so much gifts and potential, who are about to get into the spotlight or are already in the spotlight, and how to handle the fame, and how to handle, you know, life and human. I mean, if you're a guy, how to handle your fans who are women, if they're vice versa, and so that, you know, they stay on track, so that our society does not just develop in terms of content, but character. And so that for me is that.
What actually inspired this?
On that note, we end Showbiz here on Joy News today. There's more Showbiz news in our subsequent bulletins. Good afternoon to you, Aisha.
Good afternoon to you, beautiful Becky. Had fun during the weekend. That's how we wrap up the bulletin this afternoon. Log on to myjoyonline.com. There's more of the news and updates of all the developing stories. Do enjoy the rest of our programs.